Hey guys, Seth here. Today we're going to talk about Reptilicus. There's my VHS copy. I got it at some old local movie store. Reptilicus is something of a European offshoot of the Godzilla franchise, in that it's a movie about a giant monster run amok as the result from as a result of scientists meddling with nature and not really knowing when to stop, that kind of thing. But it utilizes, as whereas Godzilla utilized the guy in a rubber suit special effect, and Ray Harryhausen and Will O'Brien used stop motion effects, the company behind this movie used marionette puppets, but at the same time still marionette puppets to bring Reptilicus to life, but at the same time used the same old effects that Toho used, such as tiny, very unconvincing model cars and tanks and buildings. And for what it is, it's definitely not the worst. I definitely wouldn't call it the worst of its kind of movie. It's definitely slow. If you've seen these giant monster movies, or really any monster movie from the 50s or 60s, you know these are movies that are slow to get started, at least in the first 20 or 30 minutes. So for general audiences, it's not really going to be your thing. If you like this type of genre, though, you'll be fine. It has very little character development. The acting is average. Cinematography, pacing is also iffy. Uh, there's really not a lot to this, other than just the really goofy look of Reptilicus. Basically, spoilers. He's a dinosaur that's dug up by a group of engineers, and of course they try to preserve him. But in the process of trying to preserve him, they wake him up, and he grows into this giant, several 100-foot tall lizard, or really looks kind of like a snake with a big, long, dangling mouth. But it doesn't look convincing at all. He, at the very least, they could have made this a little more light, a little more lighthearted, a little more entertaining. But this movie, it tries to take itself seriously. The actors try to take this seriously. The director tries to take this seriously, and that's a big mistake, because it's a goofy. The effects are really goofy. The acting at times is really over the top. There's actually a particular character that's, I guess he's comic relief, but he's supposed to be this kind of dim-witted guy that guards the lab. That's where the scientists are holding Reptilicus. But he just doesn't mesh well with the rest of the story. It doesn't feel very organic at all to include this really slapsticky character with all of these super duper serious scientists and soldiers and generals, and it just doesn't make any sense. I don't really know what they were going for there. The lab itself, I guess, if there is one bright spot to the visuals, some of the shots inside the laboratory are kind of interesting. I haven't researched it, but it looks like much of this movie was filmed, particularly the lab, was filmed inside of some kind of... Sometimes it looks like a university, some kind of a college university. Other times it looks like it was filmed at an aquarium that was trying to get publicity. But either way, it's an average movie. For general audiences, it's not good. It's definitely not a movie that's going to please the masses, at least today's audiences. But I would say, if you like Godzilla, you really want to, if you're a completionist that likes to see all the giant monster movies. This this one's not this one's not a bad one. It is a bad movie, but it's worth checking out. It's got enough entertaining monster rampage scenes and funny looking miniatures and monster puppets to keep you entertained. So Reptilicus, definitely not definitely not as good as the original Godzilla or Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, but it's an interesting one. I'd recommend it.